decided to search some images, correct? Okay, perfect. So before we even do that too, I almost forgot, is right now the file is untitled. What am I? Oh, sorry. Right now my file is untitled, correct? So therefore, we need to make sure that it's saved. So you go to File right here. You see my little cursor all the way up. You see that? Go to File. You go to, sorry. You go to File. You go to Save As. Now, you can save it to your cloud, meaning since it's Creative Cloud, correct? You're allowed to save this file within cloud, so that any time you can work on it, or you can save it to the computer. The issue with saving it to the computer is it will only be in that computer, or you can email it to yourself, whichever way you want to go about it. You understand? But just be very careful, because either way you need to save the file, okay? I had in the past, some students were having many issues on finding where the file was. So be very careful, okay? Since I'm using my personal computer, I'm gonna save it to my computer. Now, how I usually want you to save it is your name, and yes, homework 1, okay? Save. Now, remember that it's a Photoshop file, that's okay. Same thing. Okie dokes. Now it's saved. Another thing, as much as Adobe likes to say that they have gotten much better with automated saving, not true. Keep saving constantly, okay? Because sometimes it likes to crash. If you're not sure how to do it, the shortcut is Command S for Mac, Control S for PCs, okay? Keep saving it. Always save your files. Get used to always touching those keys. 1. Now, I decided to do grunge instead, because you know what? Yeah. No, that's not it. We're gonna do grunge, but 90s, maybe Kurt Cobain, because I want to. There he is. Now, for my sake, I'm just dragging it in. But for PCs, a reminder, you will have to right click and save the image as to get the image. Most of the time, you're not allowed to drag. So, okay, so how do I show you without dragging in the image into the file? You go to File, you look for Place. There's 2 different place embedded and place linked. Does anyone know what's the difference? Yes, now? Okay. So let me show you how it goes. So if I put place embedded, and it's gonna load right now, and I click enter, you notice how it's just the file here? It's there. Look at my layers. Now, for anyone who's not really sure where your layers are at, go to Windows, go to Layers. Once again, if you want to see where your layers and the order of your layers, because in Photoshop we always use layers, go to Window, go to Layers. It should show up on your right-hand side, right here. Okay? That's 1. That was embedded. Let me do it again now, linked. If you go to File, you go to Place, and you put linked, put Image, Place, linked. Okay. You see the difference. Why do I have a little chain here, like a little link, and why do I have a little paper at the bottom? There's a difference. For example, linked is a preview of your image. Meaning, if you erase, let me erase it. I'm gonna show you what I mean. if I erase this image, goodbye, and let's just say close it, save, okay, and I close it, and let's just say I open it again, it's telling me there's an error. You see that tiny, tiny little red mark? That happened because when you link, you need to make sure the images you're linking it to is in the same spot that you took it from. You understand me now? So that's why you have to, I prefer you not to link it, because since you're moving from computer to computer, correct? You might not have the same files in that computer, and then that happens. If there's an error. And I say right now, it's like, but I can see the image. Yeah, you can see the image now, but you don't know when it's gonna get funkier on you. Meaning, you can add more layers to it, you can do all these things, correct? And then this might just get really pixelated. And then you realize, oh shoot, where did I put the original image? So we tend not to link. Usually you link for really huge files. Let's just say you have like 200 megabytes of a file, and if you put it into Photoshop, then it's gonna make your file really, really big. That's when you link it. Does that make sense so far? Kinda? Okay. So we're gonna erase the link file. And embedded means it stays there. Like it's the real file. That's why it has the little page. But guess what we have to do? I'm gonna introduce a new tool. If you see your lasso, right here, I want you to get familiar with the side task. Right now, I have the cursor. This is select course, okay? The move tool. Look at me, I'm moving. I can move it anywhere, okay? Who doesn't see the move tool? It's that little cursor. You should see it. Click on it, okay. I want you now, everybody, to go to File and embed an image right now. After you do that, I want you to go to your left hand bar with all your tools and try to move the image. It doesn't matter where you're moving the image to. I want you to try it. Move it. So you're gonna go to File, look for in place embedded, look for one image that you want to embed. It doesn't matter right now, it just needs to be embedded. So far, so good? Now, after you embed it, I want you to go to the icon side, this side, your left-hand side, and click on the move tool, the first icon. And I want you to click and move this. Okay? Move it. So far, so good, everybody? Yes, yes, right here, yes? Anyone struggling? Okay. Now, we got familiar with the move tool, correct? On the top of your taskbar, right here, look at where my cursor is. Do you see Show Transform Controls? Click on it. As soon as you do that, your image should have little white squares around it. Yes? Yes, okay. Make sure, so what you're gonna do is like click on your image because we're selecting our image. What that means is that if you see your layer, it's selected. That's why I want you to do that. Click on it, select the layer. Then up and above your taskbar, it says Show Transform Controls. Click on that. You see that? And now you're gonna see it has little squares on it. Yeah, hold on.
It's not letting me like download
The image?
Yeah. It won't even let me save it. It says like unable.
Okay, so do another simpler image. So it could be also sometimes with the images from the internet,
No,
it,
like even from before when you was like save as from the file, it won't let me save.
okay, so sometimes this is what happens. If the image becomes too difficult to save, screenshot. Okay? Because the screenshot will actually simplify the file. Because when it happens to the internet, sometimes they use WebDP, correct? Because it's easier for them to load it into the internet. And Photoshop might not like that WebPD. They like JPEGs and PNGs, okay? So I'll go around the room. So I want you to go around, I want you to play it. It's selected. Everyone check the show control, correct? Now, hover your mouse. You see how my mouse changes depending if I'm in the corner or in the middle of the image? Okay, it's because now I can make it bigger or larger or skew it. I can do whatever I want. So I'm gonna take the corner, and you see diagonal. I'm gonna press shift, and I'm gonna move it up and down. And then once I know what size I want, I press enter. Maybe I want it smaller. I click on the image again so I can see the controls and move it smaller. I want you to get familiar with this one, okay? So there you go. Now, I want everyone to play with the controls on this one right now. Okay, perfect. Now, why, can anyone tell me, why am I still seeing that little X? So, just to let you know, it is not a linked image anymore. It's an embedded image, correct? But it's still a preview of the file. Let me show you what I mean. So if I were, this is what happens with Macs and PCs. If I were to do, oh, sorry. If I were to just drag this one, oh, sorry. If I were to just, oh, where did it go? If I were to just drag him in, you see there's no link. There's no little X. Why? Because what happens is the embedded image is basically the preview also, but it's not linked. Does that make sense a little bit? So it's not fully the full picture. It's just a link of it, but it's not linked like the other one that's just a preview, and if you delete it, it's gonna go away. No, it's just a better preview. Let's just put it that way. Okay? So did anyone notice once I dragged in the image from the website, how it became the original size already? That's what happens. So that's the difference between PC and Mac. The shortcuts are a little more, I feel like it's a little different with PC. So what we do to get rid of that X and to make sure this is just a full image, we go to layer, we just put flat image. Oh no, sorry. We go to layer, correct? And we put rasterize layer. There you go. It's rasterized. Remember that little square at the bottom? It's gone. Look, now that I stretch it, there's no excess anymore. It's a full file. It's the file that we want to use. So I'm going to show you again. Now, if you make a mistake in Photoshop, you can use your friend Control Z. Look how many steps I can go. Now, if you want to go back out again, it's Option Control C. Sorry, it's Control Command Z. Hold on a second. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry. It's Option. Oh, hold on a second. There you go. So it's Shift Control C. So you see that? I go back. Now, with Photoshop, you have to be very careful because if I'm not mistaken, it's about 30 steps to go back only. With Illustrator, you can go as many steps as you want. With Photoshop, it's only 30 steps. And if you're not really sure what steps you took, you go to Windows, you go to History, and believe it, if you make this bigger, you can see exactly what steps you took. So, in other words, you can see, oh, okay, you can jump from one to one to really see where you want to be quicker, okay? Right now, you just want to be here. So going back to it, let me show you again. We move. Okay, we move. We go to layer, we rasterize, and we set layer. And that's it. This is rasterize again. So once again, we want to work in layers. So in order for us to work within a layer, we need to select the layer. So this is the selection tool. We click on it. We now have the control panels right on top of the taskbar. We click on, look what happens when I take it out. I cannot make it bigger. So if I put the show control panels, I can make this bigger, I can make this smaller, I can make this skewed. It doesn't matter, okay? Perfect. So now, this is done. Now, let's just say I want to make sure to save it always. Do you feel like you need a break right now? Yes? Okay.